Greetings, all. This is Dr. Daniel Sable, and welcome to the Cognitive Edge, where you'll gain insight, innovation, and impact to have some self development and also possibly bring back some ideas to your students or whomever you may like. Today, I want to talk about something that's a little different, but it's it could be a little bit um, emotional, so to speak. And that is, have we lost the ability to deep read? Is deep reading gone? And basically, um, that really may sound dramatic, but look around. Students scroll, skim, swipe, summarize, and move on. Adults do it too. We read headlines, we read captions, we read the first paragraph and pretend we got the whole point. So the real question is not, can people still read? The better question is this: can we still stay with an idea long enough to understand it? That is where deep reading comes in. Deep reading is different from just reading words on a page. It's not about finishing a chapter as fast as possible, and it's not about finding one answer and moving on. Deep reading is when the brain slows down, it's when the reader makes connections, questions the author, notices patterns, thinks about meaning, rereads a confusing sentence, and possibly even sits with an idea instead of running from it. And honestly, that is becoming harder. Not because students are lazy, not because teachers are failing, and not because technology is evil. It is becoming harder because almost everything around us rewards speed: fast answers, fast videos, fast search, fast summaries, fast grades, fast everything. The modern student is often trained to scan, click, summarize, and move on. That may help them survive school assignments, but does it not always help them think? And that is the danger, because deep reading is really deep thinking. When students read deeply, they are learning how to focus, they're learning how to question, they're learning how to compare ideas, they're learning how to disagree respectfully, they're learning how to recognize like weak arguments, misinformation, emotional manipulation, and shallow claims. So, in other words, what I'm saying is that deep reading is not just a literacy skill, it's a citizenship skill. It is a safe skill or a life skill. It is a thinking skill. But today, deep reading is becoming crowded out. And we are surrounded by short form content. They are used really to information arriving in pieces: a clip here, a post there, a notification, a summary, a search result, and AI generated answers. And let's be honest, adults are not much better. Many of us have also lost our patience with long articles, with books, and complex arguments. When we want the answer, we want it now. But education cannot be built only on quick answers. A quick answer may help a student pass a quiz, but deep reading helps a student build a mind. That is the difference. Now, does this mean schools should ban technology and go back to chalkboards and dusty textbooks? That is not the answer. The answer is balance. Technology can help students access information, it can support struggling readers, it can translate, it can define, it can organize and assist. AI can even help students understand difficult material when it is used carefully. But technology should not replace the struggle of thinking. There's value in really wrestling with a difficult paragraph. There's value in reading something twice. There's value in saying, I do not understand this yet. That word yet matters because deep reading teaches intellectual patience, and intellectual patience is becoming rare. In 2027 and beyond, schools really need to make a deep reading a priority again. Not a punishment, not as busy work, not as a worksheet attached to a chapter, but a core part of learning. This means giving students time to read in class. It means giving them text worth reading. It means letting them talk about what they read. It means asking better questions, not just what happened, but why does this matter? What is the author really saying? What evidence supports this idea? What is missing? How does this connect to the world today? What do we think and why? Those are questions that build thinkers. And this is where libraries matter more than ever. The school library is not just a room with books, it is actually a thinking space. It's a place where students can explore, question, research, reflect, and really slow down. In a world of noise, the library can become one of the last places where deep reading still has a home. But we have to protect it. We cannot keep cutting reading time, shrinking libraries, overloading teachers, and then act surprised when students struggle to focus. Deep reading does not happen by accident. It has to be taught, it has to be modeled, it has to be valued, and most importantly, it has to be given time. So is deep reading gone? No, but it is under pressure and it has not disappeared. It has been crowded out, and schools now have a choice. Ultimately, we can continue moving faster and faster, giving students more tools but less time to think. Or we can slow down enough to teach students how to read, reflect, question, and understand. Because the future does not just need students who can find information, the future needs students who can think about information. This is the real goal, not faster reading, deeper reading, not quicker answers or better thinking. So here's my final thought. Deep reading is not old fashioned, it's not outdated, it's not something we can afford to lose. In the age of AI, misinformation, and endless distractions, deep reading may be one of the most important skills we can teach because students do not need to know what the answer is, they need to understand why it matters. And that only happens when we give them the time, space, and support to think deeply. Thanks for watching. This topic matters to you. Where this video as an educator, a librarian, parent, or school leader, this video should really make you stop and think for a moment because deep reading is not gone, but it does need defenders. So hopefully this does become a bit controversial because I want to see this carry on a bit. Deep reading leads to understanding and it leads to students asking questions. This also leads to inclusion, it leads to equity, it leads to all different areas of education. We really ultimately want to have students asking these critical questions all the time because then they'll begin to ask critical questions outside of just books or papers or whatever they're getting into. So thanks again. I'm Dr. Daniel Sable. I'll see you soon. Hopefully, you're enjoying the beginning of your summer. We're going to keep this up. We're going to have some great guests coming up, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.